And we are back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal. Oh, I gotta move my thingy here. Where we have a casual and
God damn it.
informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, I'm joined by God damn it, Trek on the Tube. What up, Trek?
Ta ta
Toddy?
ta ta!
Oh, look
Hey,
at
I'm gonna take it
you.
off because I'm too hot. But I said
Oh, you are too hot.
I know. Look at that.
You're actually
sexy,
hotter than
it's sexy man
Garrick. I have
Toddy.
to say.
I
You
know,
look
but that's because I have a blue shirt. Blue shirts are hotter, right?
hotter, yeah.
A red
Medical
shirt.
science,
But yeah,
yeah.
I am way too hot in this, so I need to take it off.
That's crazy because you don't have air conditioning in Canada,
I
right?
don't. Well, they do. It exists in the Canada, but it's me. We don't have it, so yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
all right. Go take
that's
off your
it.
shirt, and I'll do a little disclaim disclaimer. Oh, see, we're just getting a show. Yay! Trek chat, Trek talk, Trek chat, Trek talk is Robbie's
Hashtag
group on
Trek chat.
Facebook, which promote we
I'm
should
not on
promote.
Facebook. I don't know the Facebooks.
I know you're not. Welcome back. How are you, sir? It's been a long time since we've had you on our wonderful TOS discussions, and I'm glad you came in a pinch here to record this one. So, audience, oh, look, I just turned it into the same background as the episode today. So do you notice how colorful the backgrounds were? This is the first
I
episode
am,
that I
and
think
I
was
am going
as
to try to work on a little something special whilst we do the discussion. And if it doesn't pan out, then I will tell you what it was in the end. If
Oh,
it does
okay.
pan out,
Okay, very
then
cool.
yeah.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So yeah, audience, we are recorded today, so this is not a live stream like it usually is. But I hope you're in the chats. Hello.
How
I hope
offensive.
the usual. I hope wow. By the way, how do I sound? Do I sound like good or shit audio, or how's it going?
You always sound wonderful.
Thank you. I hope the usual suspects are in the audience today, watching. So hello to you guys. I might be in the audience too. Actually, I might be in the chat tomorrow checking this out. So, yes. So, should I do the episode summary? Because I'm kind of obsessed with Garvik, so I don't know how good my
Yeah, no, go ahead.
summary.
Just
Okay.
do the Garvik summary.
All right, so to make this episode of Starfleet Boy prescient, I predict that Strange New Worlds will tie into this episode somehow because 11 years ago,
What?
11 years ago, Jim Kirk was serving on the Farragut, and there was a crazy incident.
Is this how the original series discussions go? Like, you're supposed to do a recap for an original series discussion, and you like straight into like Strange New Worlds theory craft.
So, 11 years ago, Captain Kirk was serving as lieutenant, his first assignment after the academy aboard the USS Farragut with Captain Garavik, who he admired very much. And they encountered this strange creature on a planet which gave off a sweet smell when they encountered it, but then it would like basically destroy your, what did they say, like your corpuscles, like your tiny little blood vessels that corpuscles are like the ends, I think, of blood vessels. They're the parts that bring all the oxygen to your skin and like all that good stuff. So those little things were like zapped out of these people, and it
Oh, no.
decimated the ship. Like apparently the Farragut was like an insane accident where like pretty much Jim and a few people were the only survivors. It killed 200 people, I think, is what they said on the Farragut. So that's an awful way to start your career in Starfleet. like
Indeed.
But Captain Kirk made it, and then 11 years later on the Enterprise,
Didn't Riker go through some like similar situation and is very like all of these first commands that in Boimler went through the anyway.
well, yeah,
Everyone,
yeah,
everyone has
point.
like hard first
like
hard first times.
first missions, right?
Yeah, they just throw you in there.
So 11 years later, Captain Kirk and crew are looking for this material, or mining, or on this planet, surveying. They're about to grab this material that's supposed to be harder than diamonds, I think they said, right? Like, and Spock has to like cut it off with like with a phaser and everything, and then all of a sudden this cloud-like creature appears nearby and kills the red shirts. Of course, lots of people die in this episode, by the way. So we
Oh
get
yeah,
some people. Yeah,
body count is huge in this thing.
it's huge in this episode. So like I said earlier, they're corpuscles. Am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying it right. They're corpuscles. I can't remember. But anyways, their blood vessels are like basically drained or removed, and so they can't get oxygen to their bodies, and so they die. So Captain Kirk becomes obsessed because he recognizes the smell, and he feels the presence of this entity or this being, and he feels like a malevolence to it, and so on. And so he tries his best to figure out a way to like destroy it. Basically, in the meantime, there's this other ship, the Yorktown, which is supposed to be delivering vaccines, which are perishable. And there's like a time crunch
the vaccines?
there. Always the vaccines. It's true. It's so different now, post-pandemic. When I think of the vaccines, I'm like, don't you know what those vaccines could mean?
It's not just that. It's just like I'm rewatching season 1, and there's also this other thing where like he has to deliver vaccines or something. They have to take vaccines to like a rendezvous point, and he's like, no, I'm gonna find. Oh, it's the Galileo 7. I gotta find my officers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kirk with the vaccines.
Kirk's like, well, Kirk's like, that's okay. Vaccines are less of a priority than my crew. So, which we'll have to debate a little, I guess. But anyways, he's obsessed with this thing, and at first the crew is kind of like skeptical and like and really concerned with the immediate danger of the vaccines, and they don't understand Captain Kirk's obsession. So to the point where even McCoy threatens to remove him from command. But a short interview with Captain Kirk and Spock, they realize that perhaps the obsession is not as bad as they thought, but maybe there is a danger. And sure enough, by the way, so then enter Garvik, enter Garvik, my husband, who, do we get a first name, by the way? I don't think we got a first name.
Does it matter? He's called My Husband the Garvik. That's what he's called.
He's just Ensign Garvik, played by Stephen Brooks, by the way, who's the actor, and I haven't had a chance to look him up because, which, by the way, hold on, I have to cough. Let me mute. Oh, what happened to my window? Am I gone? Did I disappear? Oh no, I'm
no,
right
you're still here.
All right. Sorry for the cough. I don't know what was going on there. But anyways, Stephen Brooks, who it looks like has been in a bunch of stuff, so he's quite a prolific actor, and sadly the actor passed away in 1999 at the age of 57 in Seattle, Washington, where he lived. Just like James Doohan. I think James Doohan lived somewhere in Washington State as well. But anyways, so enter Garvik, which shocks Jim because he's like, oh shit, you're like the son. How did he not know, by the way? It's not like the Enterprise D where they know everyone on the ship, but like, anyways, he's shocked because he's like, this is the son of the captain who I let down. And so he's like...
if he had a different name for some reason, like if the guy had taken... the other parent's name.
Right.
And it's, oh, really? You're the son of Garvik.
Right.
That would have, I suppose the surprise would have made more sense.
Right. But, like, I think he was just surprised that Garvik replaced the other dead security officer, and he's like, oh, shit. So he's like, Kirk's like, do you want to take a crack at this thing that killed your friend? The other
horrible thing to say.
Yeah, your friend, but he also killed his father. So I'm like, do you not want to also like take a? It's like it's kind of like me as a captain, I'd be like, yo, Garvik, I think you got it. It's like Saving Private Ryan. Like too many of your friends and family have died. You need to be rescued. You need to be safe. Like it's like it would be too traumatic for me. But anyways, Kirk makes these decisions that he thinks are right. So anyways, Garvik and another group of folks go down. They try to kill it, but no luck. And three more, I think, officers die, or are severely injured, but basically die. So then when they get back to the ship, there's like a quick trial or like a inquiry, and he's like relieves Garvik of duty, and then Garvik goes to his quarters and cries, and then he like literally looked like he was crying, right? He's all like, oh, like He was like, or he had an ennui. Is that a French word, right? Ennui. He was
It is, but that means
in his
boredom. Oh, an ennui, a problem, an issue,
like
maybe.
a depression, right? Like a
He had a depression.
it's like
He was living through a life depression.
it's like,
He was having a moment,
he
right?
was having a moment, which rightfully so. And so anyways, so in the meantime, this entity or creature, as they call it, leaves the orbit of the planet, and at warp like 8 point something, it's like racing off to go spawn apparently and have babies. But apparently, the Enterprise, it gets hungry and it needs feed. It's basically a space vampire, I guess, like a cloud vampire, because it feeds on blood. So it attacks the Enterprise, but they're able to localize it or trap it in the exhaust vents or something like that. And then, but since Garvik had thrown his food container at the wall earlier, his vent was actually open. Which, by the way, that was a cool scene with Christine Chaplin, where she like tricks him into wanting to eat, even though he doesn't eat his little cubes, his little squares or whatever they are, those cubes. Anyways, so this thing enters through the vents, and Spock happens to be in the quarters when that happens, and he orders Garvik out, and then Spock is able to actually survive the attack because his blood is different. It's not iron based, it's copper based, and I guess that was like a bad taste to this thing. So anyways, it goes back down to the planet, and so they're like, oh, okay, so nothing's working. What about antimatter? So they take down basically an antimatter bomb, and like I would love to see the crater that this thing left, because apparently it's like a huge explosion. and while they're there, they have a whole vat of hemoglobin to try to attract it. It doesn't work because this thing needs fresh blood. Apparently, it knows the difference between like fake blood and real blood, or not so fresh.
Well,
blood.
you would too.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Like, you don't even drink blood, but if you were to drink fake blood or real blood, you'd probably tell the difference, wouldn't you?
I do drink this red stuff in this glass, though, which looks like blood.
This is getting all fancy.
Getting ready for
Picard discussion. So.
Getting ready for Starfleet Boy After Dark.
I got water.
Oh, good for you. Good. Anyways, I have water too. But anyways, so they blow this thing up and it finally dies. Garvik, at first Kirk's like, oh, it needs a live bait. And he's like, Garvik, go back to the ship. But Garvik gets like a moment of bravado and tries to actually like karate chop Kirk. And Kirk fights him, but they both stick around long enough.
You can't out-Kirk the Kirk.
You can't, yeah, it's true. Anyways, they beam back up to the ship just in time to blow up this thing, and voila, everything's all good at the end. They're going to make their rendezvous, hopefully with the Yorktown, and get those vaccines to the people on COVID planet on time, and Earth. And then and Garvik realizes, he also, there's a nice scene where he tells Garvik that it wasn't his fault when he realizes through Spock's assessment that the creature exists in a quasi state of temporal displacement as well as in a quasi state of matter, and so that makes Garvik very happy. And at the end, he invites Garvik back to his quarters, just like I would, to have a chat about his father and probably drinks and who knows what else. And voila, was that a good summary? That was like a short summary. That was a good summary, right?
That was actually pretty
good.
Did
I cover everything?
You did. Nothing will happen between Garvik and Kirk. And this is not a sexual orientation thing. It's because Captain Kirk is a professional. And he's the captain.
And he's also in love with Spock.
Okay, maybe is that the reason why he won't go?
Yeah, he's a.
Things get interesting when they invite Spock into the quarters with them. That's.
This is becoming like a romance novel. Star Trek Obsession. Oh, that's a good name for a romance. Obsession. All right, what did you think?
We have to talk about this. What did you think of Spock the idiot trying to stop a cloud of gas coming through a grate or like a with his hands. I was like, that is the most illogical.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't
thing.
understand what he was doing.
He had a very emotional response. I'm sorry.
He was having a really good day until that. Like he was very logical
that was
and very
his
rational.
moment. I'm sorry. That was
a
not
little
good.
yeah. I agree.
So do we blame the writing, the performance? Is that just like a Spock in his synapses overloaded? Something happened.
I'm gonna say that was Spock not like knowing like
he didn't Spock quite well.
He didn't Spock. That was Spock not Spocking as well as he should. Yeah, that was a little weird. Also,
overall, the episode began kind of slow, and I was like, "Oh, what is this gonna be?" But I found it became more interesting over time. Like
this is one of the really good ones. I actually, yeah.
Because when it began, I was like, "Oh no, what are they gonna do again with this?" But no, it's and like at first I wasn't sold with like the Kirk obsession about it, but then the more you learn about the backstory and the lore, and the more they kind of tell the story about all, like the Farragut and what happened, the more you buy into it, and so I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed my watch.
I haven't read my Moby Dick in many years. Like I read it like in middle school, so it's like I'm very old, so it's like a long time ago. But it reminded me of the Captain Ahab like story of like the obsession with this creature, the great white whale or whatever, like this like
it's probably inspired by that, isn't
it? I think it might have been, because I think if I'm not mistaken it killed Ahab's crew before, and then he was just obsessed with like finding it, so I think it's
there's
like
a retelling of that with Tom Holland and Chris Hemsworth, so handsome.
What?
Yeah, there's a retelling of Moby Dick. The movie's not that awesome.
There's also
there's
one.
Chris Hemsworth and Tom Holland. So
I think there's also one with Sir Patrick Stewart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
someone's gonna do like a big edit with it with all of our favorite actors.
I think gosh, am I remembering this wrong? Is this from like another when I was in my mirror universe, anyways? But I don't know.
Called?
Hey, what do you think of my hoodie?
I like it. I saw it in the photograph, Mister.
Isn't it cool?
Yes, it is.
I'm very Star Trek. I wear Star Trek clothes now constantly. Like I have nothing but Star Trek shirts.
Nothing but Star Trek. Okay, you just gone full fandom now.
I've gone full fandom. It's true. And in fact, real quick aside, I know we're on a limited time schedule here. We can't go on all night. But look, I got La Serena. Did I show this on live yet? No, I didn't show this on live.
No, you showed it.
So now I have a reference for my drawing. I've been trying. I think it was Ketwalski he requested the Defiant, but someone I have to go back and see. Someone requested La Serena as a drawing, and so now I have a reference for it, and it's really pretty. It's one of the prettiest Eagle Moss models in my opinion, and I actually appreciate the ship, and now I understand. I feel like they need to do more hero shots of her on the show because she's really pretty. And I know you're going to be giving away your DVD soon, or you already have, but I also got the Lower Decks Steelbook today, so that came in as well. I'm excited to watch that. So, yes, I have an obsession. I don't know if it's healthy or not. It's Star Trek. But yeah, going back to, I feel like you're absolutely right about this episode. One of the things that I really like about it is that how much like backstory and kind of world building it gave. Like that was cool to learn about Captain Kirk as a lieutenant and about Captain Garavik, and I wonder now, I'm like, oh, there's gotta be for sure like novels or comic books or something that like might be depicting the events that they're talking about here.
You think?
I think so, and if there's not, there should be. I mean, don't you think? And I do see a Strange New Worlds. I'm like always looking for ways to get.
You're always looking for that Strange New Worlds in.
That in. But don't you think like 11 years ago would be around the time Strange New Worlds? Like, how do you think, if you had to speculate, how do you think like they could tie it? Like, first of all, are you on the camp of don't bring Captain Kirk into Strange New Worlds, or are you in the camp of it's okay to get him like in one episode?
I don't know. I feel like they'll make too much of a big deal out of it. Like if they can show restraint,
he can't meet Captain Pike, and he can't meet Spock. Those are the hard rules.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could be a Pike Spock light episode.
Just leave it be.
No,
maybe we should just leave it be.
I want to.
Yeah, You want a young Kirk?
Well, I just want him in. I just want him like. I just want a first appearance. Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be cool. But like, don't you think it could be cool? Like, okay, so the Farragut has been decimated, right? And like, it could be like where maybe number one has a different mission. Like when they do one of those side missions or whatever, and maybe she helps rescue them or something like that. What do you think? I think it could be cool. Oh, the Enterprise probably can't be in it either.
So it has to be like a one-off, just Kirk on a planet episode with nothing related to any of the rest of the show. And then at the end, the Enterprise shows up and picks up an officer that has nothing to do with Kirk, and then just goes away. So they've never met him. Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I
Like
don't know.
Spock and Pike can't meet him, as far as I know. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, that's a little too crazy here. Okay, Spock and Pike can't meet him, but I think Una can meet him, and like any of the other characters could.
I don't know.
I think it can happen.
You think it can happen?
I think it can happen. All right, so the other thing I really liked about this episode was, as I mentioned earlier, it was like so much more colorful, and this is kind of how I remember as a kid TOS being, and like the lighting is basically like my room back here in a lot of the shots. Like there's that shot in the inquiry scene where Garvik, basically it's a bright green wall behind him. I mean, you could like use that as a green screen. You could totally use that as a green screen or whatever. And I thought the cinematography was like different too. Like the lighting was just different in general. Like everyone seemed lit better. Like there was more depth of field. Like like a differentiation between the background and the characters. I really like the way it looks. It looks very sharp. And in the HD transfer / remaster, which you can't tell anyways because you have really poor vision and judgment for high resolution things, so I would say that like you'll have to trust me on this.
Okay, so fine, we'll leave it be. I learn things all the time.
Sorry, I was just kidding.
I agree.
That was an inside joke.
I think that it was very well directed, and I noticed it, like they even did like handheld camera things when officers were attacked on the planet's surface. They kind of ran up to it with the camera. It was very dynamic, very modern actually.
Yeah. Directed by Ralph Sineski, by the way. This one was written by Art Wallace.
That is, but good on him.
Yeah, I don't know Ralph either. A lot of TOS people can just tell you, oh yeah, they directed this episode, that episode, that episode. But I'm not as well versed as I should be. But yeah, that was who directed it, and it was written by Art Wallace. I think Art Wallace, I've seen the name. By the way, the last like few episodes were back-to-back directed by Joseph Pevney, I noticed. So I wonder if Ralph will get the next couple of... I wonder if they're doing this thing where they do, like, directors, like, in a row, for a couple episodes or whatever. But as far as Star Trek is concerned, it looks like... Let me go over here real quick. Sorry, audience, as you know, Starfleet Boy doesn't do research, so it's often done... Often. I'm mispronouncing a lot of words lately. It's so weird. It's often done. So he does this one in Assignment Earth, which will be in season 3.
I know I look like I'm not concentrated, but I'm doing something that is very interesting.
No, I know you do it's okay. We have Ruben on who games while he's on the show, so I
I'm not that disrespectful. Come on.
You hear that, Ruben? You're disrespectful. Toddy said it. I don't feel disrespected. It's cool. But yes, that was the director and the writer of this episode.
One more thing.
Ooh, this is really exciting. I wonder what you're doing.
Oh yeah, you really do.
Yeah. But if it doesn't work, we're gonna hear about it, but we won't know about it.
Yeah, I know. No, I'll make it work.
I actually think that the character of Garvik was a little underutilized. I would think that, right? But I think he was a little underutilized. Like he was kind of put on the bench, and they had just shots of him, like in his ennui.
Well, okay. To be very fair, Garvik as interest. I found he was an interesting character, and I would have liked to see kind of like an ensign like this, because the like Chekhov, I completely forgot Chekhov was in the show, because I'm doing my season 1 rewatch, and all of a sudden I'm hearing like, yeah, bridge to Captain Kirk. I'm like, oh shit, Chekhov. Um, so yeah, but we don't really see the ensign point of view with Chekhov, like we're seeing, I guess, with Boimler and Mariner. But the newer shows are doing more of a comedic aspect to that. You know what I mean? Even Tilly is kind of comedic. They play it for jokes sometimes. It would have been interesting to see Garavik, because he isn't young. He's just an ensign, I suppose. He's lower off in the ranks.
I think he's quite young, because 11. Like, he says that he's. I think he. I was kind of. This, you should never do this, but I was driving and watching the episode. But fortunately, I wasn't looking at the screen. I was like kind of listening to it or whatever. So actually, that kind of worked a little bit. It sounds like a radio drama.
What I have created is perfect.
Ooh.
It's a masterpiece.
Toddy's like
it's
so
a
pleased with
masterpiece
himself right now. That's amazing.
This is just this. I slapped it together in, so it's 26 minutes.
That's good. Well, 26 minutes later, we'll
brilliant.
get his full attention, but we're gonna see this brilliance. Oh my god, I can't wait.
I'm gonna send it to you. You can stream it live. This is amazing.
This is
How
really
do I
cool.
send it? Do I transfer it? What do I do?
So it's a video.
Yes.
Yes, you could. You could. Is it big enough? You have to. I guess. Yeah, you
It's
have to
pretty
transfer it.
short. Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
That's funny.
I have been talking about the episode. I think it's a good episode.
It has sound.
Okay,
it has sound. Do I have to play sound?
No, it has no sound.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of Spock McCoy moments that are really good in this episode, and there's a lot. I think Shatner does some okay. He says, what does he say?
Camouflage.
He said camouflage, but I think he puts on some real good performances in this.
Yeah,
one.
he does. He's really good.
Because for half of that episode, you're on the fence. You're like, is he insane? Has the gas done something to him?
Yeah,
like, is
you
the
really wonder
odor
that.
affecting his judgment? It's good.
Well, it is. It was like something. It speaks to maybe not as sophisticated as we do today in TV, but it speaks to like how trauma can kind of like come back. Like they say this, your sense of smell triggers your memory, right? And so this is obviously a very traumatic event for a minute. 11 years later, all of a sudden, the smell comes back, and you kind of see it in Shatner's performance on the planet. Good point. Really good point. Let me know when you send this. This is so exciting.
It's sending. It's on its way. It's at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. It's gone.
Which email address did you send it to?
Well, the one I always use.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Is
I see them all. I have a
Sohail at
unified
Starfleet
inbox.
Boy?
Okay, Sohail at starfleetboy.com, which, by the way, reminds me, you can feel free to write to me.
You can send them emails.
Yeah, you can send emails to me. It's SOHAIL at starfleetboy.com.
It's
I thought
very
it would be
short. I think I only did something like a few seconds. I think it's only a few seconds long. But I think you're gonna like it.
I thought
I
it
think
would
it's
be
very- I
weird
think it's
to
very
do.
important.
I thought it would be too weird to do. Whatchamacall? Oh, we should have recorded this.
It's actually 8 seconds long. I didn't realize it's that.
It's only 8 seconds long. That's funny. Here we go. The email it just dropped. All right. So
Are you gonna watch it live? Are you gonna have your reaction?
yeah,
live?
I'm gonna have my reaction live. This is exciting. I have no idea what to expect.
This is why I no longer take part in stuff in original series discussions, because I destroy them.
No, this
We
is
used to
perfect.
have remember the first episodes I was on? We used to have like very deep conversations.
I feel like we got deep a little bit here.
Humblet used to like contact us, be like, "Yo, you guys are so deep, very interesting conversations and episodes." Now he's just like, "Shut up."
I know that we will. I am assuming, actually, or hoping rather, I should say, that when the Star Trek series Lower Decks comes back in like less than 50 days, it's like 45 days now, I think. That you'll join me for those live discussions. Do you still have Thursdays available?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Then we'll make them another day.
Eventually, I'll come back. Once I become like a full-time streamer, I'll be there all the time.
All right. Let me see here. All right. I just downloaded this, and we're gonna pull this up. All right.
Nurse Chapel actually has a great moment counseling, helping, reassuring, the whole eat thing. You got to eat this food, and that was a great performance as well.
Yeah, I like that, and I like how they had like a follow up. That was like something that like was really cool. Is like I actually believed it too. Like when she was like, "This tape has Doctor McCoy's orders on it for
Mm.
you to eat, and if you don't, if you don't do it, then if you don't do it, then what did she say? Then he'll likely feed you
Oh yeah, intravenously. Like he'll have
intravenously.
you brought down to sick bay, and he'll have you fed intravenously. Yeah.
I just saw the first frame. Like I haven't played, I haven't played it yet. I'm already like blushing. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Live reaction to this is what a talented friend I have. this is what, this is what a talented friend.
Sadly, as it stands, there is no sound. You can just launch it. It's
Is it
fine.
because I said green screen and you were like, "Oh shit"?
When I watched the episode, I was like, he's sitting in front of a green screen.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with this. This is like the what? How did you? Oh, you. End of show.
It needs like a love song, a love ballad over it or something. It needs
That
something
that's you
cutesy.
can't you can't see me
Oh
turn
my
red in
God.
this purple lighting, but I'm red. But
Matching that lighting is difficult. So
that was amazing. I'm putting that on Twitter like right now. Like after we finish streaming, that's getting to vote. That's it.
that's twatting.
It's like the best thing I've ever seen. All right, thank you, audience. Let us know what you thought of that. That was pretty awesome,
My
Toddy.
gift to you.
This is the best reunion
See,
episode.
this is what happens when I come back.
Yes, you're back. This is 100% back. That was great. Whoa.
I don't have any notes. I used to do notes. We used to be very professional. Now we're just nonsense.
Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, let me fix that. There we go. No, we're still very professional. I didn't take notes either. I didn't take notes, but I usually take notes.
It's very
notes
appropriate
as well.
that the episode's called Obsession and that we're like obsessing about this romance with you and Garavik.
It is very appropriate. What is going on with my J.J. Abrams lens flare lighting here? This is so weird. All right.
I don't know. We're picking up the the laser cannon that you've got behind you.
It's true. So before I got distracted by that beautiful, beautiful video my friend made for me. Oh my god, that's like the best. That's really. Okay. Anyway, so when she gets back to Dr. McCoy, she's like, hands him the tape, and he's like, "What's that?" And it actually is like a survey or like a research paper or something. And he's like, "I don't understand." He goes, "Oh, I was just using some psychology," which was really funny. But Garavik still didn't eat his food.
No. So what? So, he didn't.
He didn't.
He was feeling bad. He was feeling bad. So I have a question about the fact that he was feeling bad and like kind of the parallel with Kirk feeling bad. Spock tries to hit them with that logic, and he's like, if you had shot 2 seconds earlier, because it's a cloud, you morons, you would have missed, because you can't actually shoot at a cloud, right? So he says nothing would have happened differently. There's no fault. Would that make you feel better? I feel like that doesn't change anything, because you would still feel the guilt of, I was still not quick enough. It just so happens that this creature, nothing would have happened. But had it been another creature, you know what I mean? I'm still too slow. I still didn't react. I feel like the guilt would stay.
There were a couple of things. I thought one thing that was interesting is I did like that the crew care about the junior members of the crew enough to do things like that. Spock cared enough to like go down to his quarters and to kind of like relieve his guilt a little bit, you know. But also I think that by this point in TOS, whatever Spock says like almost is kind of like, oh yeah, you know, it's like when it's like if Data had said something, it's very reassuring. Like if Data tells you, no, I don't, you know, based on my assessment, there's no way you could have done this. Like that would help me feel
So you
better.
think it's not you think the fact that Spock is not trying to reassure you, he's not trying to coddle you,
No,
makes
he's
it
just giving you
more
the facts.
impactful.
Right, exactly. Like I would feel, and even you see Jim even like lighten up a little bit when Spock, he's like, Captain, there's no matter what you did, the outcome would have been the same. Like even so, I think that like characters like Spock, which don't ever do the coddling and don't ever do the like, lie to make you feel better. That's why it's more impactful. So I like that Spock did it to both Jim and Garvik. So I like that aspect of it.
So
But in
why does he
general,
do it? Do you think what happens in his mind? Does he do it
I think
to
Spock
improve
is.
efficiency,
I really think
or
Spock. Yeah, in a way, yes, because I think he's like, and he mentions it earlier in the episode. He's like, you know, he comes to Dr. McCoy concerned because he's like, I don't understand this human aspect of obsession. Like
mm,
with one focus on one event that's meaningless. It's like, why is Jim so focused on this like action that he did like years ago, and why is he so obsessed with this thing? Like there's a bigger issue perhaps at hand or whatever. Um, and the same thing, I think he sees, he must have sensed Garavik's like ennui, and he was like, well, he's useless, kind of like with this depression. So maybe, maybe by like
I need to fix him?
yeah, I need to fix him. And so I think that's Spock's intention more than making you feel better. I agree with you. I think it's more about like improving the ship's efficiency in a way, uh, which essentially,
You could retcon the fact that now that we have Discovery and that we've seen a younger Spock, which he was more in touch with his emotions. I suppose
correct.
even if he he didn't control them, I think Kelvin Spock is he's balancing them more. He's using more of his. He's drawing into his human emotions more. But now that we've had Discovery, you could kind of retcon that maybe he has some sort of empathy in the back of his mind.
100. I 100% agree with that. And even sans Discovery, Spock does show this kind of thing later, like in the films, and especially later in like TNG. Like we do see that. Sub Commander
He
Tall,
likes to
who,
pretend that he's real cold, right?
yeah, or not pretend. I think he prefers to be more Vulcan. Like he's at this point in his life, he's trying to be more like
You don't think
Vulcan.
he's fronting?
He's fronting, yeah. But later, when he abandons Kolinar, I think it's more he kind of returns to the Discovery Spock, if you will, in a weird way. Like Discovery Spock is more like way more emotional, and which fits because of how we see Spock in the cage, I guess. But then TOS Spock,
Shouty Spock.
Shouty Spock,
No
TOS
women.
Spock. By this point, you could tell he's like definitely a lot more interested in being Vulcan. Like he's embracing his Vulcan side a lot
Hmm.
more. And then after Star Trek: The Motion Picture, when he abandons Koloneer, I think that's like a more balanced Spock. You know what I mean? Like so, I feel like there's that there like
He
that's
goes
the.
from like Sith to Jedi to like the gray Jedi. Is it
It's a little
after?
like
Is that what he does?
Sith. Like it's kind of a big accusation. I think he goes from like un untrained to trained to master, because a master can take his a master is trained but chooses what to do anyways, in a way, you know what I mean, like isn't
Okay,
just
so
bound by the
let's
rules.
let's pretend you've never been a manager in your life, and you're learning to be a manager, but all of a sudden you become very strict, and you're always by the book, and you want everyone to be 100% efficient. But then later in your later years, you realize that you have to be more balanced, and so it's kind of that, but with his
That's
emotions
great.
and with his, I suppose, with his cultures.
That's really great that you said that, because in a way the film version of Spock, especially in Star Trek 2, is a manager, right? He's like managing ensign, like he's like kind of like a teacher, right? Like he's managing all these
He's
younger
managing giant space probes.
and yeah, and he's also managing giant space probes. But yeah, it's a really good point that you just made, and like yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, at this point I think he's like trying really hard to be Vulcan. Like I think he's just very focused on the facts, logic, non-emotional, very, and I like it. I actually dig it. So I was gonna say earlier, Sub Commander Tall, who comes on the show, on Twitter. He's Sub Commander Tall. He posted a great thread today where at this point in TOS, we don't know much about the Vulcans, but there's a big assumption that you can make that Vulcans actually have somehow managed to purge their emotions biologically over the years. Like that through all this discipline, like they've actually managed to somehow actually, like, since they don't use their emotions, that part of their physiology stopped working. And I love that.
I think that doesn't. So I think a lot of people will tell you that that doesn't make sense, like realistically, but in the same way that, for example, I don't know, Romulans couldn't grow the things on their foreheads over just a couple of 100 years, or so separated from.
Well, we're talking about an arc. I think we're talking about an arc, the Vulcan arc, like from the time of Surak.
Yeah, but I also give them leeway in that sense. But the aliens, like,
yeah,
it doesn't work that way with humans or with other things from Earth. We don't know about Vulcan.
But there are things like that. Like, it is possible that earlier humans, maybe just not even like, maybe like 30,000 years ago or whatever, or even less than that, like maybe even humans from like 5,000 or even 6,000 years ago might have had better senses, in the sense of like you could have had a better sense of smell or a better sense of hearing. But in our modern life, since we don't need those things perhaps per se, they've not gone away, but they've changed. Like they've adapted to like modern, like,
without any knowledge whatsoever, I would assume that humans, even as close as 5,000 years ago, had better instincts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like
that's a better example, actually, connecting it to emotions,
to things that are happening, or better intuition, maybe based on anything, the weather or like animal behavior, that kind of stuff. That I'm assuming they were more in tune and connected with their surroundings. So yeah, I'm sorry, I deviated your thing.
No, actually, I think that's totally relevant. The other thing I liked about this episode was, actually, you brought up intuition, and I thought that was interesting that like they put in the clause about captain's prerogative. Captains are encouraged to use their intuition and things like that, and I thought that was an interesting take.
Well, did they put in a clause specifically, or was it just Kirk saying that? He says something like to the effect of like being a captain. What does he say?
Yeah, he says something like that we're given the prerogative to use our intuition, which something means basically, and captain's prerogative. He brings that up a couple times later on, but he just shortens it and says captain's prerogative, and I think that's a reference to this episode where he says like, so like sometimes Spock will question him, and instead of saying it's my intuition, he'll just say captain's prerogative, which is what I'm gonna start saying. Gonna start saying.
This is your show.
That's my show. So captain's prerogative.
This episode gets a 10. Captain's prerogative.
Man, I thought we were only gonna do a short and sweet episode discussion, but we're already at 43 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you: do you have any other? I
don't have any bullet points. We used to do like those. I know.
We're gonna do those.
I don't have any.
I have to record. Also, I'll invite you. No pressure. I'll do it offline, but I have to record another one for next week because I'll be in Disney World next week.
Oh dear. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll be at I might do a couple of little quick tweets and stuff like that from there, but I'm gonna go to the other Star franchise. I'm gonna go to Galaxy's Edge and visit the Star Wars theme park that's a part of Disney World.
So I watched it on Netflix, and I had the original VFX.
What?
Yes.
How did that happen?
I do not know. And you know what? I noticed it because I was watching. I was like, that isn't the CG vessel. Usually, all of the ship shots are replaced.
I wasn't watching it, so I don't know. Actually, I don't know if yeah.
And so I know, and I was like, wait a minute. And then when I saw the cloud, because they physically filmed smoke, and then they blue screened it, green screened it, or they layered it. I don't know how they did visual effects back then, but they put a physical smoke cloud that they filmed onto basically the starfield. And I was looking at it, I was like, that looks really odd. It looks really old. And so I came to Memory Alpha just to check up. And yeah, the visual effects that I saw in my Netflix were the original, which I have no complaints about. But so it's just like, now I don't know how I'm going to see that. Well, I have to pull that down.
I don't
There,
think this one was. Then that must mean the effects were not remastered.
No, they were. They are. There is a remastered version. It's just that maybe Netflix doesn't have the remastered version on it. You'll have to tell me. Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
No, I mean like they're usually consistent. I should have watched this on Paramount Plus to see, because I know they have it there. But I think that's exciting that. Because I mean, like maybe the effects were just good, were solid enough that they didn't have to.
No.
Or, I don't know.
There is. Oh God, there is a remastered version.
Oh no!
Because the effects aren't that good. And
my
I was looking at
version
them, I was
looked.
like,
My version looked really clean. I'm watching it. Here, skip intro. Let's see what the first shot of the.
okay, wait a minute. Let's just do this. I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh yeah, this is the original.
See?
Yes. Holy moly!
I want to show people just a comparison. So this is what. Share my screen, sir.
Oh, sorry.
God
Yeah,
damn
sorry.
it. I'm on Memory Alpha.
Yes.
This is what we both saw in the episode.
We both saw this version. Yeah, it looked clean. It looked good.
This is the remastered version.
No way.
Which this looks like it came out of The Mandalorian. So no, I'm kidding, but yeah, no. This is what we got.
Whoa! So how come? Yeah, that's a
I don't
really
know.
interesting
What's
mystery.
going on, Netflix? Who uploaded this? Who's the intern that uploaded this?
I know, intern. Captain's
You're
prerogative.
doing a good job. Keep it up. You missed one episode. It's fine.
We do like. I do. I mean,
intern's prerogative.
Interns.
I like the original fix on this one.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna go look on. I'm gonna check real quick on Paramount. But while I do that, Ty, will you give us some closing thoughts? Oh, I'll give my rating first because we gotta.
Okay.
All
right.
Give my rating.
Hit me with it.
Unless you have more questions, which we could go into.
No, I'm okay. Are you doing closing thoughts? Or are you doing your rating and then my closing thoughts and then?
I'll do my closing thoughts. So, all right, here we go.
Okay.
I had no memory of this.
No, go ahead.
I had no real memory of this episode. Like I couldn't. Like I know I've seen it before. I kind of vaguely remember the sparkles and like all that stuff. Super surprised at how good this episode was. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I can't give it a 9 or a 10 because it's not like. I mean, even though it does have Garvik, my husband, in it, like for that, I give that part a 10. But like,
he's older now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's okay. It's like whatever. I mean, he died. Sadly, he died actually. So my husband's gone. Yeah. The actor died. I said it earlier when you weren't paying attention, but it's okay because you were making that beautiful. Graphic,
yeah, well, I was focused on him being quite alive, you see. Or maybe he's a space ghost haunting someone's lantern somewhere. You can, on a planet somewhere. Maybe you can go and...
just like created the best imaginary scenario.
Yeah, this is mixing everything, Garvik and Beverly. This is everything you've always wanted.
All my things. You've got all... This is what happens when you have your best mate on. Anyways... but yeah, so 8.5 for this one. I can't give it a 9 or a 10 because ultimately it's not like an episode that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, you gotta watch this episode.
That you remembered, which is an issue in itself.
Yeah, or that I even remembered. Yeah, so it's like, but I will remember it now. I don't think I was sexually active when I first saw this episode. Those feelings
you hadn't yet found your clouds.
I hadn't awoken. Yeah, exactly. So that hadn't happened yet. So it's so now that that's happened, like maybe I'll look at it differently.
No,
but overall, it's a solid episode.
Now you see the red shirts as people, whereas before you just dismissed them as red shirts.
But also, I'm just so excited about all these opportunities for Strange New Worlds connections. So I actually like that too. So 11 years ago,
higher rating because of the potential for like references.
Hey, I gave it an 8.5. It's an 8.5. It's a pretty solid rating. That's a high rating. All right, Toddy, you take it away while I look at the Paramount Plus
mirroring, which is the word I had saying. Your thoughts from the beginning. Yeah, I had no recollection of this whatsoever. I have seen the original series 3 times through entirely, which means I have at least seen this thing 3 times, and I could not remember anything from it. Like when you told me we're watching this one, I was like, "What the hell is that?" And then I was halfway through the episode. I was like, "I don't know what this is." So
What
yeah.
happened the last 3 times? You just
I got no.
you just
clue.
went into
I
a
got
zen.
no clue.
You
Yeah,
just
I was
went
just like,
into
nah.
like
It's because they haven't remastered it. I just can't. No, because I watched them in their original effects anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, this I had no recollection of it, but it was fun rediscovering it. It started off a little shaky. It ended quite well. I liked all of the references and all of the explanation, like the how do I say it? How they grew Kirk's backstory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. I thought that the scenes were quite touching between, like all of the different characters. The dynamics were great. Spock and Kirk, McCoy and Kirk, Spock and McCoy, Nurse Chapel and Garavik. There's a lot going on. It's all fantastic. It's
Very
not
nice.
the best thing ever, though. And sometimes there are certain moments where the original series episodes kind of feel a bit, I don't know, like run of the mill, or maybe sometimes you kind of expect what's going on because they fall into a certain rhythm at some point, the episodes. So you
Right.
kind of get used to the way that they're structured or the way that the story is going to unfold. So I give it a 7,
Oh, very nice.
which is still
Hey,
pretty
the
high.
Paramount Plus version is remastered, so now I have
Oh,
to watch it another time
wake up,
just to
Netflix.
see my husband again and to see the the remastered special effects. Very cool, very cool.
I know it's a long way off, but now I'm looking forward to doing this episode on my channel and comparing the remasters because that's
Yeah,
gonna be cool.
yeah. I wanted to know how far off are you? What was your last TOS video?
The one that's coming out next is Shore Leave.
Oh, exciting! Very cool.
I didn't like it as much as I thought I
No,
would.
but it's still cool that you're up to
Yeah,
shore leave. That's good.
and then the
Um,
last one I watched is Galileo 7.
Galileo 7. Yeah, I remember. I watched your video for that one, so that's cool.
No, I haven't reviewed that one yet.
I'm from the future. I already saw. This is future
No,
Starfleet
it's
boy.
because I write the review for like Shore Leave, but then I watched
I made it up
Galileo
in my
7.
mind.
You
I
made it
watched
up.
that episode. That's so
You
that
muddled
was.
them all together.
I'm not Spock. I was trying to make you feel good.
You don't have to.
No, I know I don't. Have
We
to
as
do
content creators know that we don't have time to watch other people's
We don't have
content.
time. Toddy definitely doesn't watch my videos because I
Anything.
insult him on air.
I watch
open.
nothing. Don't feel offended. I watch no
I-
one's
no, I don't
content.
feel offended.
If you're a content creator and I speak to you on a regular basis, I don't watch your stuff. I love you though.
There you go. No, it's true. It's really hard to keep track of other things and content create and have friends. Like we have to chat with people and talk to people, like and all that stuff and fleets and tweets. Like
Fleets and tweets.
they take a lot of time. Anyways, audience, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I know that I kind of love the live discussions, but I also like these discussions because it's just you and me, man. And it's kind of fun.
And Garrick.
But
I kind of feel like a third wheel here.
It's true. It's true. I had an immense amount of fun. Totally unexpected what happened in this episode of Starfleet Boy After Dark, but I really, really appreciate it. You have no idea how wonderful that made me feel. In fact, it made me feel so wonderful that we're just going to show it one more time. We're just going to go over here and we're going to sign off with this. Audience, please like and share and subscribe if you like this video. Go check out Trek on the Tube if you're not already on Trek on the Tube's. Ooh, did you see the lighting change just now? If you're not already on, if you're not already on Trek on the Tube's subscription, please go subscribe. Did that make sense? What I just said? If you're not on his
It
subscription,
works. If you're not on my subscription, get on my subscription. What are you doing?
get on Trek on the Tube subscription, and everybody live long and prosper. And we'll see you next time on Starfleet Boy. All right. Oh my gosh. That was the best thing ever. All right.